나르밤야 웃지 말아요.
Wow, maayong Pasko, mga real need.
Ah yes, ethnicity. As a human being, it is something that we are naturally born with. However, for a while now, I noticed that there is this one particular fad from the Westerners, which mostly consists of Americans, where they tend to make it a core part of their personalities, which kind of annoys the heck out of me. And that's what I want to talk about for this video. Hello everyone, my name is mszroms, but you can also call me Mark. And before we begin, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I am trying to hit 500 subs and 95% of you aren't helping me out, so please do me a favor, will you? Like this video and hit that red button below for Christ's sake. And with that being said, let's get started, I was first made aware of these tendencies from this content creator named Sina. I am not a keen subscriber of her content, honestly, but half the time I saw her on YouTube shorts, I see her making the fact that half of her family is from Japan a talking point.
Yeah, I'm literally the Japanese one.
Japanese?
Yes.
Imagine, I'm black, white, Japanese.
I'm black, white, and Japanese. Everybody forgets.
Which is okay, I guess. I guess that's cool, it's the land of anime after all. But then I also found out about Growing Up Italian, which is a podcast channel that kind of fixates on the fact that these people from this show have Italian upbringings. And to me, it's kind of crazy because from the looks of it, they look like they grew up from the States. Because they like playing out a lot of stereotypes within the show that you can see in a lot of Italian-American movies like The Godfather or The Goodfellas, And they never spoke their supposed language and only covered their Mediterranean culture on a surface level, like through food stuff and their upbringings even though they grew up from the States. But the final nail to the coffin for me was this episode from Jubilee, where they invited a bunch of Asians to play Odd Man Out, and they had them speaking in their native language, and there's this one girl who was apparently a first-generation Filipino, which basically means someone who was born in the Philippines, and she spoke in my native language, and embarrassingly enough, she did it on a broken tongue, even though she flaunted about it so much.
I am a proud first-generation Filipina. Nandito ako para mag-represent yung Pinas at mapatunayan na Asian talaga kaming Pinoy.
And if you're wondering how an actual fluent speaking Filipino is supposed to sound like, just watch this fallen off video of mine. I spoke in full Filipino here. And in comparison, that shit was just, it was embarrassing really. Anyway, getting on to the topic, I just think it's kind of an ick for me because they seem to like projecting themselves to be a part of a certain group even though they do not have the solidified bond nor understanding of it. At least most of the times, They like pretending themselves to be a part of a certain nation even though they grew up from a different country and have only experienced a slither of their ancestors' cultures through the limited factors surrounding them such as their household maybe. They kind of remind me of Tony Soprano in a way. In America, he likes boasting himself to be an Italian.
The Bank of America. You ever heard of it? One of the biggest banks in the world. Started by an Italian. And here's something else I bet you didn't know. More Italians fought for this country in World War II than any other ethnic group.
But when he actually went to Italy, he can't even speak their language and was often ridiculed by the locals over there.
No andamil.
It's manufactured in America.
So do you figli in
What do you fucking say?
To a person like me who grew up from his homeland, that's how y'all people look like to me. Like a straight up poster, Their upholding of that identity is just purely based on blood, yet still they find that reason to flaunt it just so they could make themselves look unique and personable within their fellow American peers. At least that's what I noticed. Who also thinks they are unique, likely because their parents or ancestors also came from another place in the world. And if we are gonna base off this rationale, then I have some fun facts for everyone. Did you know that all modern humans, regardless of what country or region they came from, originated in Africa? Meaning we have distant descendants from our brothers in black. If that's the case, then does it mean everyone has the credibility to say the N-word now? Because personally, I have some 0.0000000000001% black in my bloodstream. And yes, including that white kid who drinks Prime while playing Fortnite on his mom's basement or something. I don't know. Sorry, I am bad at making stereotypes about white guys. But nonetheless, the answer is I don't think so. Therefore, a person's origins aren't just limited from where his or her predecessors stemmed from. But listen, I didn't make this video just to gatekeep people from the north knowing their ethnological roots, but just rather give them a wake-up call and make them realize, to stop making it an integral part of their personality. It may be cool in America, but people from all over the world just may be ridiculing you, to be honest, Because here's the thing, you grew up in a different country and was shaped by its environment. Therefore, that's where you should identify yourself plainly. Make it as simple as that, Because if not, might as well just identify ourselves all as Africans. Your qualifications to identify yourself to be a part of a different nation is very limited and underwhelming in my opinion. Maybe you can mention it once that your great-grandparents or something came from that country, but that's just them, you feel me? You personally didn't. So don't attach your name with it and have some sense of nationalism to just purely identifying yourself on where you actually was born or raised from. Especially if you A. haven't been to that country or only go there on a visitation basis. B. you don't know how to understand and speak their language fluently. C. do not know the social references that are encaged within that country, may it be something major or just local memes to be honest. And D. are not a registered citizen of it. Duh, like an actual citizen, which gives you the privilege to vote once you're 18 or something, Otherwise, you are a foreigner by all means. This is just a personal metric, but imagine this. I myself, as an example, is a born and raised Filipino. I lived in the Philippines for 20 years. I speak Filipino fluently and associate every actions that I do with my nation, for every single day of my life. Also, I am required to vote for the upcoming elections this May, Jesus. But my great-grandparents are Chinese. However, I have never been to China. I do not speak their language, not a registered citizen of it, nor have any knowledge of it besides from the fact that their supreme leader is Xi Jinping, and that's where the super idol guy came from a few years ago. Does that mean I have the right to associate myself with China? And I want you to think about that for 1 second, because if I do, I just look pretentious, wouldn't I? And from the wise words of Mos Def in his song Habitat, home is not where you're from, it's where you're at. And from there I rest my case. So stop all this ethnicity bullshit and y'all be having in the West. I think it's stupid. The world thinks it's stupid. And anyway, what are your thoughts about this video? Leave your comments down below and let me know. Thanks for watching, and keep living out there.